report. We conducted a short research, conducted in several institutions, basically at the architectural faculty of Zagreb where Marasovic worked, and also in the Ministry of Culture while the period when he was chief in charge of conservation in the Ministry of Croatia, or Ministry of Culture in Croatia. Actually, it turned out that nobody knows much about him, and the question was, of course, why? And one of the answers is that actually he didn't build much. So if we measure architecture by the number of built houses, so of course he was neglected from the historiography of 20th century architecture. And just recently, last year, he got his first bibliographical entry in the National Lexicographic publication in Croatia just in 2021, thanks to Krvavica and this serial of Betonski Spavači that was actually
Slumbering Concrete.
What?
The title in English is Slumbering Concrete.
So that was actually the reason, and when you read this bibliographical, if you've made even any research on Marasovic, as we did, you will find out that there are already many mistakes in this short article. So we made this basic research, and we didn't go much further because it's quite complicated. And it's complicated because he actually had a really wide span of interests. So he was actually, as I wrote, a painter, a designer, a publicist. He published articles even in the period before the Second World War in split journals like Novodoba, Jadranski List, and after the Second World War in Slobodna Dalmacija. He was an urban planner, educator, conservator, and also very social, as you will find out, really very socially, politically engaged architect. I will start actually from the beginning, and we will follow his steps. So he was actually born in 1913 in Split, and as he claimed himself, in petit bourgeoisie family. His father was a builder and an owner of a small construction enterprise, while his mother was a housewife. He finished his primary school in Trpanj at Pelješac Peninsula. His family from one side from Split. It was very famous Split family of Marasovic that gave us several architects and urban planners and conservators. And on the other side of the family, he was from Trpanj when he actually went to, when he spent his childhood. He graduated in Split at Realna Gimnazija. It's a kind of high school with the courses in the natural sciences in Split. And he entered the Zagreb Technical Faculty, a department of architecture in 1932. This period was actually already characteristic of broader acceptance of Neues-Bauen and the ideas of new architecture. It was already then quite accepted, and at that time the architectural scene in Zagreb was very dynamic and propulsive. The group of young architects published a book, Problemi savremene arhitekture, the problems of contemporary architecture, and they actually showed out although they get several prizes and different competitions, they didn't get a chance to construct at all. And they even also organized the exhibition of the hard working housing conditions of workers at Zagreb periphery. So it was obvious that it was kind of social moment when actually architects stood out for the better living conditions of every human being. Their tools, how they will change the world, was actually, of course, the new architecture that was gradually accepted, functional, economical, healthy spaces, constructed with modern construction technologies, of course, and materials. There were quite numerous architectural competitions at the time, and Marasovic entered the competitions as early as 1936. So actually, when he was at the fourth 36 when he was actually entered the third or fourth year at the faculty, and he was participating at competitions all the period of his life, and he was very active in this field. And the first competitions he entered, now we know that was a sports swimming pool in Split and hotel co-op in Montenegro. It's very interesting that that same year he actually decided to quit the faculty for a while, and as he said in his curriculum vitae, he was living and studied. We don't know much about that, we just know, we have just this fact, that he studied and lived in Paris, Nancy and Berlin until 1939, when he returned from Paris and Berlin to Zagreb. In Paris actually he worked with Ernest Weissman, and I pointed out this collaboration because Weissman was a prominent member of Europe. He was a Croatian architect, and he was a prominent member of European architectural avant-garde. And he was the most important, he was an expert in prefabricated type building for hospitals and sanatoriums. So actually that was kind of direct contact of Marasovic with the issue of hospital and sanatorium buildings. And here I wanted to point out for you that this competition for this Weissman was awarded with one of the first prizes for Zagreb Foundation and Clinical Hospital. Was also Auto took part in this competition. Two, what's more important is that Marasovic, when he returned to Zagreb in 1939, he worked for architects Juranovic and Kliska, and actually for 2 years he worked on the construction of foundation hospital in Zagreb. So actually he was already then very involved and very well introduced to the problems of the planning and designing the hospital buildings. This Zakladna bolnica, he took part as surveillance at construction sites. Supervision was actually the first and the biggest hospital in Croatia at the time, and it had actually 900 beds and was the most modern clinic and health center ever built. Marasovic at that time actually entered several competitions. We just here listed it to see how much he designed, and we don't know anything almost about these projects. The only one that we know is this hotel at Plitvice, but actually he took part in competitions for public buildings in Split, Belgrade and Skopje. He designed schools, sports, educational and healthcare buildings, hotels, office buildings and buildings for culture. So he really had a wide range of practice and designing different public buildings already before he even finished the faculty at the age of 29. The competitions at the time were very competitive, and it was very hard to stand out at the time. There were several architects, I won't mention their names because they don't mean much to you, like Hinko Bauer, Marijan Haberle, Korkar Kiverov, Krekic, etc., and Zoran Selimir Dumetic, Sonia earlier mentioned. And actually at the end of 1930s and the beginning of the 1940s, this new generation of young architects that Marasovic belonged to stepped out, and they were born about 910s and educated in 1930s. And Marasovic's first big breakthrough was the first prize for the hotel at Plitvice in Croatia, and he and his brother Miro Marasovic, who was also an architect, won the first prize. Of course, it was in 1941, so this project was not built. At the time when Marasovic finally graduated in 1942, he was 29 years old. And at that moment, he already had constructed 4 family houses and 1 apartment with building in Trpanj and in Zagreb. We don't know much about these buildings, we just know the names, we don't know the location, so if someone will continue this research, it will be really a big job to do it. What was also important to point out is that the only competition for hospital building was the railway hospital in Belgrade in 1939. And as he claimed himself, he was anti-fascist, and he stopped verdicting on March 27 of 1941, the day of the coup d'etat in Yugoslavia. The reason for the coup was the cession of the government of Yugoslavia to the tripartite pact, to the Axis powers. And immediately after his graduation in 1942, Marasovic moved to Split, that was at the time was occupied by fascists, by Italians. In Split, actually, Marasovic joined the National Liberation Movement, working illegally in the city, collecting arms, medical supplies, and food, distribution of legal literature and press, such work, and carrying out for the families of partisans. In 1943, he joined the partisan army, and he was an assistant to the head of the technical department of the 8th Dalmatian Military Corps. That's the division, actually, really the photo of them. And later he headed the reconstruction department of the People's Committee of the Dalmatian and Split. So he was already then, he had a rank and he had a function as a professional involved in the partisan movement. In Split, he exhibited his drawings. He was very talented as a drawer. And he took part at the first partisan exhibition that took place in a deliberated Split in 1944, and the same exhibition that took part a bit later in Dubrovnik. And as you can see in this newspapers clip, he was also a member of the architect section of the Cultural Workers Club of Croatia for Dalmatia. Marasovic also was involved in the planning of country reconstruction, and that was his first big job after the war, and the training of the experts in planning and construction. He participated in this famous, you show this is the same photo, the only one we have by now, of him as a young person, because the only other photo we have was the one that was published when he died.
The obituary.
But he was actually 80 years old. He participated in urban planning seminar organized by the National Anti-Fascist National Liberation Council. It was ZAVNOH in Šibenik in 1944, and this event was very important. These are the guys who get together. These are the regulations plans that actually Marasovic did at that time and after, and because the urban planning at the moment was very important, that there was actually not many experts in urban planning at the time. So they organized a kind of workshop in Šibenik where they actually tried to make plans and to educate other experts how to rebuild the villages, the cities, the settlements, and etc. Besides, as I told, he himself actually already had experience in urban planning before 1940, and here I wrote what actually he planned before. After the war, it was very dynamic in the Medved period for all the experts because they were outnumbered, and there was just the most of the republics of Yugoslavia didn't have experts at all. For instance, in Skopje after the Second World War, there were only 2 architects. So actually, it was very important mission to educate the experts, and among the first steps that was done by the state at the time was the reconstruction of the burned and destroyed villages in all parts of Croatia, in Lika, Slavonia, Dalmatia, Banja, Gorski Kotar, Kordun, and all part of the Croatian coast. And actually Marasovic was in charge of reconstruction of Lika villages and he made the regulation plans for Gradec near Makarska and Divoselo by himself. He was also entrusted by the federal government to take over the other responsible political and professional tasks. Until 1947, he worked for Air Force Command in Zemun, and was actually interesting because we are now in Pula and Istra. He was in charge of urban planning in Istra when it was still a Zone B. It was not already connected to Yugoslavia. It was a military zone that was connected with the rest of Yugoslavia in 1947. So he was the major one in charge of planning during this short period of 2 years in Istria. So he made conceptual regulation plans for Pazin and Pula, and reconstruction and regulations plans for Brioni, Islands. You know, of course, that it was the President Tito Summers' residence. In general, the task, did I miss something? The task of the regulation plans was to provide basic zoning and infrastructure to avoid mistakes with long-term consequences. And this is something that also had to be explored in archives in Pazin and in archives in Belgrade, where we can find a document about this period from 45 to 47. At the same time, Marasovic, although he was in Istria, took part in all important Yugoslav competitions for important public buildings, like Presidency of the Government of Socialist Yugoslavia, the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Yugoslavia in Belgrade, and Military Museum, and the National Assembly in Ljubljana. That's what we actually know. The need for designers with the experience at the time with experience in public buildings were very large, so that was the reason why he was moved to Zagreb, where he took part and worked in National Design Institute of Republic of Croatia, which had then several departments and design groups. One of his major tasks at the time was the construction of reconstruction and construction of Plitvice, and it was headed by Zdenko Strižić, the architect with who will have a big dispute. Okay. On Plitvice, Marasovic and Zvonimir Mandroknic constructed their first major building, the residence of the Presidency of the Government of the Republic of Croatia and President Tito. It is famous and now well known Villa Izvor, that was designed and built from 1948 to 1953. The villa belongs actually to the type of exclusive residence with comfortable lounge areas, club rooms, movie theater, conference room, restaurants, etc. And this project actually encouraged Marasovic's further collaboration with the Presidency of the Government of the Republic of Croatia. He was their designer, and it's also something that has to be researched. Zagreb architectural scene in Yugoslavia too was very propulsive and dynamic. The achieved results of the first 5 years period and further guidelines for the work of the profession were questioned and redefined, and the first conference of architects and urban planners of Yugoslavia in Dubrovnik in 1950, and actually Marasovic was together with Neven Šegović was the member of the editorial board, so he was all the time present in all major professional events. After hard time and great sacrifices, architects began to question their position and assignment in the new self-governing social society in public debates, manifestos, and addresses, and they step out against design restricted by norms and claim creative freedom within even modest production conditions. They're actually trying to re-establish architecture as a creative and artistic field as other arts. And actually, they emancipated themselves from the engineering profession, and this situation actually leads to a big dispute in early professionalization of profession, because at the first time all the architects were employed in the Ministry of Construction, and the early 1950s, the first smaller design bureaus, ateliers was opened. And actually in this reshuffle, Richard saw urbanism as his field, main area of his professional work, so actually he was not interested he was more interested in urban planning than design. He was employed as a lecturer of urban planning. This was something that was really not well showed out in publications recently published by the architectural faculty in Zagreb. He was actually their lecturer there, and he was lecturing the very important subjects like urban planning and design of settlements. So he was a lecturer, and his colleagues at the time at the faculty were also the guys who were at this Zagreb meeting and workshop in Šibenik, and they of course recommended him for this position. So it's obvious that it was also not just motivated by professional achievement, but also by his idea and trust to socialism and anti-fascism. He was actually established as an important expert, and he was invited to the most important architectural and urban planning competitions at the time, including the regulation plan of the coast of Šibenik in 1953 that even occurred before the famous competition for the reconstruction of the Zadar that took a year later. Marastovic was actually a member then of the Commission for Regional Planning of the Executive Council of the Croatian Parliament in 1951, and what was the most important role at the time was his participant at the first Congress of International Union of the Second Congress of the International Union of Architects in Rabat. And it was actually a very important event because Yugoslavia's memberships after the split of Yugoslavia with the SSSR, and participation in the Congress was the subject of an international dispute between the West and Eastern and Western blocs, the USSR and Poland on one side and the USA and Great Britain on the other. Due to the accession of Yugoslavia, Polish architects actually directed from Moscow cancelled the Congress that was originally planned in Warsaw, and it took place in Rabat. And Yugoslavia presented themselves at that important event for Yugoslavia by first big international exhibition of Yugoslavia architecture, and as you can guess, that Marika Marasovic was the delegate of Yugoslavia at such important international event. So he actually was the architect one of the most trusted architects by Yugoslavia political structures. And he also was a delegate of the Association of Croatian Architects at the meeting for peace. It's not well-known event, but it's very important. It was a meeting for peace and international cooperation organized. It was an international event organized in Zagreb in 1951. Now you finally will see some of his designs. This is the list. I didn't bother myself to translate all these projects into English, so they're in Croatian. But actually, I just wanted to show the number of the projects done by Marasovic that we know by now by name, or just thanks to some archive that actually remain after his death with his family in Split. Some of these projects are known a bit, but there is a lot to research. So this is actually the whole list of the projects that we know by now. This is his competition designed for the teacher's school in 1952. He won the third prize. This is his competition entry for the Cultural Center Sky Park Trešnjevka, and it was also a vital competition, so it's obvious that he had a high position as an architect in Zagreb as well, because he was also invited with other architects to take part, and this is something that is very interesting. People don't know much about it. It seems that it was also, there was a competition for Austrian Pavilion and Zagreb Fair, and actually the building was constructed by Vjenceslav Vikter and Zdravko Bregovac, not Marasovic. He also took part in the competitions for skyscraper at Zagreb main square, Ilica, and he also took part in the competition for Workers' University in Zagreb and Center of Zagreb. So there was actually a lot of competitions that he was involved with, and the biggest competition that was related to the construction of hospital buildings was this one. This is a military academy and clinics in Belgrade in 1957. Actually, at the time, Marasovic came into a sort of conflict at the faculty, because the Zagreb, promijenio se zakon.
The law changed.
The law changed for higher education, and actually his position at the faculty was changed. And actually that was the reason why he quit his position, because he was not measured by same criteria as others, and it's also something that has to be researched further in the way that someone has to read all these reports from different sessions of faculty bodies. But what we know is that he was in confrontation with Zdenko Strižić and Mladen Kauslarić, and here is the reason why he actually quit. He said, during the 6 years of my employment at this faculty, I have gained a variety of experiences. Recently, I have gained the most important ones. By relying on my experience, I came to the following conclusion. I must not and cannot take part in such work that is being carried out at the architectural department. Therefore, I hereby quit my service at the architectural department of the technical faculty, and he, of course, wrote down death to fascism, freedom to the people. So actually, we have to find out what happened, and now we can just speculate about the real reasons, but actually he confronted himself at the level of the faculty, and he left it. But what is also interesting, that Zdenko Strižić, maybe particularly because of this dispute with Marasovic, left Yugoslavia next year, and he emigrated first to Australia and then to Germany. So maybe these two things are connected, and maybe they are not, but it's kind of kako se kaže, never mind.
Maybe not related.
They are maybe not related, but maybe they are. Okay. It is obvious that actually Marasovic, I think, didn't plan to quit his
It was
job.
a year of pre-cancel culture, so we don't know.
Yeah, he didn't plan to quit his job, because in 1945, it could be interesting to our dear colleague Borislav Doklestic, that actually in 1954, he had his professional training at the Urban Planning Institute in Paris. So actually he did you understand me?
Yeah.
Okay. You did understand me. Okay. So actually it seems that that was still his choice to continue, but for this reason he quit. Actually, what was как се каже, I'm now very tired. I already told her that it was a bad idea to put me to speak English at 6:30. What I wanted to say, that at the same time, while he was still lecturing at the faculty, he get position of director, but he was vršitelj dužnosti. He was not. He was an honorary director, seems possible, of the Ministry of Culture Department for Conservation. And actually, as he quit the faculty, he was employed as the director of the conservation of the Conservation Department of the Republic of Croatia, and he spent there just 4 years because after in his in memoriam written by Igor Skopin, he said that it was not his field of interest, it was just his duty. So actually the most of the things he done in his life was because it was delegated to him and it was his duty. When he found out that he can quit this position, he did it just 4 years later. And actually he used one more chance to educate himself, and this period while he was director of 4 years, he spent almost 1 year in Italy, thanks to the government of Italy fellowship to study the Italian historical architecture. And he worked and he was actually interested, and there is a lot of drawings of Poreč and the reconstruction, preservation of Eufraziano Basilic in Poreč. Since 1958, actually he chose his final position, and it was the independent artist and the member of the Croatian Association of Independent Artists. So he worked as an independent architect. He took part at competitions, and he actually continued his collaboration and cooperation with Conservation Department, and he was actually, what was also interesting, he was the member of the City of Zagreb Assembly, and also he took some other positions in different Soviet councils and etc. And at that period, he actually, of course, constructed in early 60s, he constructed the health center, children's hospital in Krvarica. By then, we know that he won more than 25 awards in national and international competitions, and in 1965, he was awarded the Croatian Association of Architects honorable memberships. From these fragments of his work, we can really see and feel that he was really someone who really designed easily, in a way that he had the clear idea of the functions, material and construction, and used them as the main source of design and shaping the building. And it was interesting to compare these two, that you see that he has already this, let's say, a structural approach to building, and something that is actually quite common for the interwar period, and the idea of type building and type spaces, when you actually structure very logically building to function as the sanatorium in Finland. And this was also the similar concepts and ideas that were the idea actually of this period, and the idea of curing the people through actually architecture. So what actually is now to do is to actually to research to research these all different fields of his work. It's the post-war reconstruction and planning, organized production of knowledge, organization of the profession, as well as the work of professional associations and knowledge change. So actually you can see that he was involved in many different things, and that actually it's quite hard to trace him. And it's even more harder to trace him in a period when he became an independent designer, because we have no documents in some kind of institution where he was, where he would be worked. What actually we know about him, that he in a later period he designed and built in Austria and Switzerland, and he built, as you can see, actually the residence for quite rich people. We don't know if he actually built it or not, but it's also something that's still to explore. And I actually, although I have quite a lot of experience as a researcher in the field of history of architecture, I really don't have any idea how to start this research, because there are no traces. So it will be something to do for someone, I hope. The reason why Marasovic did not work with it, what was actually the most interesting is that you can feel and see that someone who created this structure, this system, actually didn't want to be a part of it in a way, that actually he took duties when they come to him and say, okay, you have to do this and this and this, and he did it, but actually he had the freedom to choose what he would do, then he would be something, it seems that he would be something else. There is a kind of myth about Marasovic and Bolt. Actually, he was Dalmatian, he was constructing a boat in Zagreb. And he was doing this for his whole life, and this boat never reached the sea. So actually that was something that was his obsession, and he also spent a lot of time by drawing and painting. So this is all something that still remain to be researched, and the destinations where this research has to be done are actually archives in Split, Pazin, Zagreb, Belgrade, Paris, so it's quite difficult research, and I'm not sure that someone will actually be enough motivated to do it. I hope we will find that one that will that will continue this preliminary research that is actually just the basics that we step down. We even are not sure that on this picture is Richard Marasovic. We hope it is. This is the album of this conference in Šibenik. It's actually stored in Croatian Museum of Architecture, and it's not available at the moment. But we presume that in this album there is also other photos, so one day when